Hello, ladies and gentlemen, my Dark Knights. Welcome to the scariest deck profile that you've ever seen. The newest deck. This is a deck that I've made out of my own creation until the brand new cards come out for this deck. Say hello to Earthbound Memento. Now, you may be thinking, how does this work? How does this deck work? Well, we're going to get into that. Now, this deck is missing like 2 cards. It does not have hand traps because obviously we're playing the Earthbound engine in it. But for now, that's fine. But ladies and gentlemen, let's jump right into this because you're probably wondering why is this a thing? Well, you're gonna see because I love the deck. I love how it is old. It kind of plays like it's like a painful choice deck. It basically plays just like it. And it is very interesting where your graveyard literally is your deck where you need it to. Now it loses hard to Abyss Dweller, but it is still, and it brings out a boss that literally it's 5-head dragon. For it looks like 5-headed dragon. It literally does. And when the new like support cards come out in Infinite Forbidden, those cards are gonna be busted. Those cards are gonna be so good. The sheep and the conqueror is going to come in and change this deck completely, and I think that it's already a pretty decent meta threat in the OCG, and I think in the TCG it's going to be very powerful as well. Because any time where you can dump 3 mementos to your grave, that's pretty good. So, the big boy. The big boy has, he can be cheated out. Now, he's a brick in your hand if you don't, but you're only going to play one of them because he can keep coming back. Because while you control no other monsters, this card can attack all monsters your opponent controls once each. Once per turn, if your opponent activates a card or effect, you can special summon a memento monster from your hand or graveyard. So, basically, I think later this card is going to be much, much better. I'm in the process of trying to get a CR or a QCR of him because he would really make this deck pop. But for now, Techutilia, we're just going to call him the Combined Creation. But my favorite card in this entire deck is Memento Earthbound Darkblade. One of my favorite old monsters from back in the day, and he looks amazing in white. I gotta say, he looks amazing in white. But he looks so good. It literally, if this card is normal special, I discard a memento monster, target a spell and trap, destroy it. That's great. That literally is fantastic. It's back row removal. It deals with the floodgates that Tenpai is playing. It deals with, well, not floodgates. It deals with their field spell that is very annoying. Because their field spell doesn't have protection, which is good. And if you get rid of it, I think like you can. So basically, what you can do is, because it's on normal or special, you can summon it, you pop that field spell, and then if you pop that field spell, you can start affecting their stuff. So that's very good. Now, unless they have an effect failure, because Tenpai's playing like 23 stinging hand traps, it's going to be a very toxic format, chat or YouTube. What can I tell you? Darkblade is the boy in white. He's ready. But One card we are missing, we're missing one of her, is Memento and Anguich. My girl, she is here. She is literally the adder. She is the girl on summon. She lets you add, and then also lets you target a level 2 or lower, and destroy one you control and special summon the targeted monster. Sometimes you do that effect. I mean, I don't really do that too much. So really what you can do is you can destroy her, and then summon the Gaddock that you sent to the graveyard earlier in the duel, or summon the Goblin, and stuff like that. Because there was some decks that they were playing a small Goblin engine to play it, but I don't think you need the Goblin engine once the new support comes out. But the third Anguich is coming, but the other MVP, which, where is my third? Where's where is he? Well, I'm missing a third horsey, so that's cool. Okay, interesting. There should be 3 horses, but for some reason there's only 2. So that's cool. 2, Tatsu no Shigo. He should be 3, because where's my third? I have no idea. I had a third. I'm pretty sure I had 3, but that's fine. Tatsu Shigo literally is the extender. If you don't have anything, or if you just control mementos, which, surprise, surprise, you will 95% of the time, unless you have the Earthbounds in this deck, you literally just special him, you pop himself, or you can pop another one, and you get to send equal to his level. So you literally just send all the little boys, and then you Anguich. Anguich then gets to target the next guy we'll talk about, and summon it, and then pop herself, and go through those lines, and then, yeah. So, speaking of, here is Gaddock, the wretched ghost of the attic himself. And what he does is, most people don't know what he does because he was just a common from Phantom Nightmare. Was you target a memento card in your graveyard, add it to your hand. If this card is sent to the graveyard by a memento card effect, you can special summon this card. So, you Tatsu no Shigo, send it to the grave. You get to special summon the Gaddock. So, that special summons the Gaddock for you. Then Anguich gets to special summon one of the other level 2 or lowers, which is either the Goblin or the Mace. 9 times out of 10, it's probably going to be the Goblin. But it could be this little guy, the Mace. Where he just has an effect in the hand. He's basically a hand trap, that you can use, where you can discard him and target a face-up card, take control of it until the end phase. But only if you control the combined creation. But you can destroy memento monster you control during your men phase. And if you do, add a memento card from your deck to your hand. So, that is pretty good, where if you summon it off of the Anguich, you can pop itself and add any memento monster you want, which can be this little guy, the Goblin, or the next guy we'll talk about. The Goblin has the effect during the main phase. If you control him, you can discard him if you have the combined creation, and you can't target memento monsters you control with card effects. So basically, I think this one's just on your turn. It's on either turn you can use this. During your main phase, you can destroy memento monsters you control. If you do, send up to 2 memento cards with different names from each other. So the Goblin is very crucial in the combo because um, you can destroy Memento you control, pop it, send him, send two more, set it up for the Horn Dragon, who we're going to talk about in a sec, and the combined creation. Speaking of, here is the Tri-Horn Dragon in all his glory. I think he deserved a higher rarity than just a rare. I don't know why Mace got the rare and he did, or super rare, and he didn't, but that's fine. Basically, he costs 3 or more in the hand or graveyard to be summoned, I believe, right? Oh, with different names in your grave. But when he's summoned, he lets you target if on the field is destroyed by a card effect, which very easy to do in this deck. You get to target 3 cards on the field, including a Memento card. So one of them has to be one of your Memento cards, which you're okay with. You get to pop it, and then you get to pop 2 other cards on the field, pop them all, and then you're okay. See, this is the kind of deck you're okay with your stuff being popped because the new fusion smell in it is okay with your stuff being popped. Now, let's get into the Earthbound version of it, and here's the reason why we play the Earthbound prisoners. This guy right here, the Stone Sweeper, which literally says if there is a card in your field zone, special summon this card. This card and another card we're going to get into later is very good for the deck because of the new fusion cards that were added into the deck. Not only lets me fuse, but it will also let me synchro summon. Will also let me synchro summon with the deck. And Stone Sweeper is is a very good card. It lets me add a level 3 or lower tuner from the deck, like Fiend Tuner from the deck. Then we do have 2 of the Groundskeeper. I'm thinking of dropping him to 1. All he really does is he protects the Earthbound monsters, where they can't be destroyed by battle or card effects while there's a card in the field zone. He does that, but then he also has an effect where on normal or special, you could special level 5 or lower Earthbound monsters from your deck or grave. It's okay. I mean, it's not the greatest, but it's still good. But this guy's is the card to have because he adds you either the field spell or he adds you Harmonic Synchrofusion, which is one of the best cards for this deck. That's why I play it, because it's just another fusion spell to play, which helps a ton for the deck. So, and it doesn't just say from deck, you can get it from graveyard as well. And then the last card we play is 1 Vision Resonator. It was at 2, but just because if we get a Crimson Gaia early, we can add it with the Vision Resonator, and then we can extra extend with the Vision Resonator as well. And then let's get into the spells. The Bone Parties, there should be a 3rd. We're in the process of trying to get Bone Party. Bone Party is a very, very good card. It is the best card I feel in the deck. It literally says destroy a Memento monster in your hand or face of field. Take a Memento monster from your deck with a different name, add it to your hand, or special summon it in defense position. It's on a quick play. And with the field spell, every end phase you get to reset your Memento spells and traps, and you can Bone Party again. And like in certain situations, if they're playing on the back row, you can bring back Darkblade, discard a card, pop their back row. Like if they're playing Labyrinth, pop their back row. If they're playing Tempai, pop their back row. If they're playing if they're playing like any like sort of like you can get around it very easily. But it also has an added effect where you can banish it and you can target a monster and it gives it piercing. Really, the only thing you're doing with that is just if you can OTK with the combined creation. That's really all you're attempting to do with that. And then speaking of Memento, Glenn, here is Memento, Glenn. This is at 2 right now, but once the new support comes out, this one is going out. We will only need 1 of this because the new fusion adds it. So we won't need it anymore because it literally adds it from hand, field, or graveyard, I believe. I believe it adds it from hand, deck, or grave. I think it adds it from any of those areas as well, and then lets you dump as well. So, because that's its on effect on summon, I believe. But this field spell literally says if your Memento monster battles. So I literally just had this conversation with a friend of mine where he was talking about Tempai, and I said, so all it really does is they can't activate any spells or traps until the end of the damage tab. So if you're playing Tempai, all they can't do is they can't use Kaiman in the battle phase effect. So it checks that. And really it checks a couple other cards, but it doesn't do too much with that. But that effect really doesn't come up too much, but it's the other effect that I kind of like, because if a monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can target one of those monsters, special summon a Memento monster with a lower level from your hand or graveyard, and special summon it. So you can special summon another Memento monster and basically create a conga line of never-ending douchebags. I'd like to call them. Now, here is the fusion spell, the Mementotlin Fusion. The Mementotlin Fusion, I think this is great. That is a quick play fusion spell because it is a fusion spell that you can't activate normally, but you can also, if a monster was destroyed on your side of the field, whether it's destroyed by a card effect, you can shuffle Memento monsters back into your deck from your graveyard as material as well. And you can also banish it to destroy a monster you control as well to add a Memento spell trap. So this deck likes adding. Loves adding. Now, Droll would have something to say about that, but I think Droll isn't... I mean, Droll will still be around, but I don't think Droll is that big of a difference right now. But then this is like the big bounce back card here, because this is the payback card that your opponent needs to watch out for, because this card right here, I'm thinking about dropping this down to 1 because like I only play 1. I could probably play another hand trap. So really, like, probably most likely that this one's going for a Tatsunu Shigo once we get the Tatsunu Shigo. But the Bone Back, basically what it does is it's a monster reborn for the combined creation. Ignoring in its summoning conditions from hand or deck, you can summon it. And then all it takes is that if a face-up Memento monster control leaves the field because of an opponent's card. That's it. That's very easy. That's very easy for this deck to for your opponent to do. And that last effect, while this card is in your graveyard, you can banish this card, special summon as many Memento monsters as possible with different names from your hand and or deck. If your opponent moves out of your graveyard. So, if they called by Call of the Haunted, or not Call of the Haunted, called by the grave, your Memento monster, or anything that would banish it, you can activate this and special summon as many Memento monsters with different names from your hand or deck. And they will all activate too. That's a major punishment. And the combined creation won't activate, but you will get all their activations. Now, Earthbound Prison. This deck is basically hurt your opponent back for doing stuff to you, because Earthbound Prison negates an opponent's monster for activation, and then it negates the effects of the face-up monster. Now, and it gives you an extra normal summon for the Earthbound monsters. Now, if they get rid of it, and it halves their life points, and it also wipes the field, negates their field, everything on their face-up field, which is very devastating for them. And then Harmonic Synchro Fusion obviously is the best card for the Earth if you're playing anything that plays both synchros and fusions. Rhoda to get Darkblade. TTs, we're probably maxing out on the TTs, or the triple tactics talents eventually. Earthbound Fusion, it's a dark fusion. We can use it for either the Mentotlan fusions or the Earthbound fusions. Crimson Gaia to get us our Resonator. Terraforming to get us to our field spell. Foolish Burial to get us started at least. And those are our spells. And then moving on to our traps, we have Fracture Dance. Just wanted that for right now. It's just target a card on the field, pop it, and then if we have another one, pop another one, non-targeting. That one's not the best, but I love this one as a continuous trap. It is Cranium Burst. Basically, it forces your opponent to attack the monster with the most attack, with the highest attack. And basically how it works is if they activate an effect on the field, you could target the combined creation. It loses 1,000 and it negates the activated effect. So, and you can only activate that once per chain. So you can negate 5 effects on that one Cranium Burst. And then, of course, since we play different monster types, there can only be one. Again, I think the only type that we duplicate on is Fiend. So really, there can only be one is the only thing that really, would only hurt if we have multiple Fiends out. And that's not a problem. That's not a problem at all. There can only be one is not bad. Now, the extra deck. This is where this real spice gets in. Now, we are going to start with the Memento Fusions. It's not big for right now, because right now it's just the Twin Dragons. But the Twin Dragons right now is, a lot of people don't read the first effect on the Twin Dragon, which literally says that monsters destroyed by battle with your Memento monsters are banished instead. So that is very good. That also goes for the combined creation. So the combined creation, basically, it's kind of like Scareclaw. So all this stuff, the little guys give all this stuff to the combined creation to just make him stronger, give him effects, make him unbeatable, make him untouchable, make him not be able to be touched, banish everything that he goes through, and then everything else dumps stuff to the grave. And then this dumps one or destroys one to add 2, just like the other one. And this one also says, if this card's destroyed as well, you can special summon a level 6 or lower Memento monster from your grave. Which is great. That's the first time I'm reading about that. I didn't even know that last line of text. So if it's dead, if it dies, you literally just a special summon any of your level 6 or lower Memento monsters from your graveyard. So it's just constant recursion. Constant. Now, the Earthbound fusions. Geogracia, just as a big boss. The 2 Geokrakens, it's another way to get your field spells. You play 3 of them in this deck, so it's an easy way to get to the field spells on summon, but it also harms your opponent. This card goes hard against Tenpai, by the way, because if they do that, and you do have Darkblade out, and you do some effects, and you find a way to get rid of their field spell, like in the battle phase, because the Sangan summoning only makes them unaffected in the main phase. They go to battle, okay? They go to battle, they do their stuff. This thing, when they go and synchro summon, wipes their field. It destroys as many monsters your opponent controls as possible that were special summoned this turn. And if you do, it inflicts 800 damage for each one. So yeah, that is very good. Then we have Geogremlina, which is just the add one from my deck, and then this one lets one attack directly. So that is just for the swing for damage. Then we have the Super Poly targets. Once we get Super Poly in here, Garua will be in here as well. This card actually goes pretty strong in this deck, because you can go through a line with a Dracostapelia and then go into this guy, as well, and he gets big. He gets very big very fast. Now the synchro monsters, we have a Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend for time, Geogremlin for the 2 Geogremlins actually, just for the effects. We had a Baron in here, but someone in Yu-Gi-Oh! Decided to ban Baron. But this is fine. But Geogremlin basically has that. He's going to be the guy you go into 9 times out of 10 off a Harmonic Synchro Fusion. Or any Synchro you do, because he's going to be the guy you go into that he has a quick effect fuse. So that's pretty good. And then the last guy are these 2 Geo Griffins. And he's another guy who's just an extender as well. And, well, that is the deck, ladies and gentlemen. So, what did you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. And as always, and you want to see more, stay awesome at Dark Knights.